Hey guys, it's Ross and welcome to Busting Rainbow Six Siege. This is part 2 of myth busting Aruni's laser gates, and if you've missed it, I've also got a video out actually myth busting a whole load of changes for Jaeger and Wamai. Anyway, let's get back to being laser focused on these myths. Zero under the lasers. So this actually plays into the whole theme of this character that he is very stealthy, because we've got two setups here. One is this reinforced wall where it's reinforced and soft wall on the other side, and as you can see the laser get taken out and the gadget gets taken out. But with the soft wall destroyed, we can actually poke through and be under the lasers, which makes it of course harder to see. This is actually pretty cool. Now you'd have to drone out and figure out where the soft wall's already been destroyed by defenders or explosives during the game, but this is totally a legitimate strategy, and like I say, I love how it plays into the stealth element, so that is confirmed. Zero can reset the lasers. Now, this of course you don't want to do as an attacking operator, but certainly Zero's gadget does reset the lasers, and I guess it makes sense because Maestro's one can reset it too, and they're both laser-based gadgets, whereas something like Twitch Drone cannot do it, and that's based more on taser technology. But certainly it's confirmed, even though it's useless. Doc's heal versus lasers. Now, this is because I really wanted some Doc interaction, because there is literally nothing whatsoever that interacts with Doc's stim pistol. And with this being lasers, of course, a smart gadget, it would be so freaking cool if this actually, just for a split second, would switch off and then switch back on to let the stim pistol fly through, because I can guarantee you that there's going to be lasers over rotation holes, and there's going to be situations where Doc is going to be able to see a defender and not be able to actually get them up because those lasers are in their way, and it would be so freaking cool to finally get an interaction with Doc. But for right now, unfortunately, this is busted. Now, talking about smarts in this gadget, there is some interesting interaction with bulletproof gadgets with the lasers. So this kind of surprises me. Like, if you go and you put a bulletproof gadget on, say, an electrified reinforced wall, it will be destroyed. But a bulletproof camera or any other bulletproof gadget placed onto a reinforced wall or a soft wall with lasers, the lasers won't activate. And I can only assume that they're being somewhat smart here, because of course there's no projector at the bottom that needs to connect up with the one at the top or anything like that. And I also feel that there's some sort of super smart strategy here that the pros will find, or something where you deliberately keep the lasers off for a certain amount of time, and then when you want to, you would destroy your own gadget either with an impact grenade or like shoot a bulletproof cam at the corner off or something to reactivate the lasers. I don't know how the heck it would work, obviously, but it's kind of interesting. I think that bulletproof gadgets have this kind of interaction with the lasers, and it's certainly confirmed. TRAX slingers versus laser walls. So in the last episode I showed off how these TRAX slingers just go underneath the laser doors, but when it comes to laser walls, gridlock is actually great. Now, I don't expect you're actually going to find 3 lasers on the same wall, but if you do, you can put down one TRAX slinger. It doesn't even have to be close to the wall, and you will wipe all 3 of the lasers out. So that is confirmed. Meleeing the lasers. So this is actually quite an interesting one. So you're actually able to melee through the lasers to hit either wooden barricades or castle barricades. And this is, useful, especially for taking down a castle barricade without actually taking out the lasers. And I guess it makes sense because you are using the butt of the weapon, so you're not actually hitting it with your fist. Now, there is a few different kind of ways for this to be done. So you can have the lasers and the castle barricade on the same side, or you can have this second option here where we have the lasers, a gap, and then the castle barricade on the further side. And as you can see, even with that extended distance, we're still able to melee through, unless we actually get too close, and then it will actually go and fry us. Now, while not important to this myth, there is something you should know about placing gadgets when there's lasers in the way, because you can actually have very different outcomes. So if the lasers are placed on the outside and then the barricade is on the inside, you can actually safely place the gadget on the surface, but you will take laser damage. And if the lasers and the barricade are on the same side, you can actually place the gadget, you take no damage, but the gadget actually gets fried by the lasers. So there's quite a complicated interaction depending on how a barricade defense has been set up. But certainly it is confirmed when it comes to meleeing through the lasers, totally fine. Does Aruni's robot arm give her an advantage against shields? So what I've done here is tested out Cav and Aruni against Montang, either in normal mode or extended, and as far as I can tell there is no difference whatsoever between the two melees when it comes to actual impact on the shield operator, and both of them appear to activate the shield break animation just the same way as each other. So I'm going to say it is busted. There is no advantage to having the mechanical arm when it comes to shield operators. Now Aruni has a lot of synergy with many defenders, and one of them I think is Frost. So what we've got here is lasers, then we're going to put down deployable shield and then Frost mat, which I think makes a good combo for this operator, because it could well be that the attackers have to use a drone in order to take the lasers out before they come out so they don't see the frost trap, and also it just looks really intimidating. You've got this deployable shield, then you've got lasers, and then of course if they know there's a frost man on their side, that's a right pain in the butt. But this is not my favourite setup with the lasers and deployable shield. So you can switch the deployable shield around and actually interact with the lasers, which is bad. Like bulletproof gadgets, it will switch the lasers off and not work at all. But my preferred method is a backwards shield with the lasers on the other side, so that from the attacker's point of view, they only have basically one option. They need to take down the lasers before they can actually take out the deployable shield. Whereas the other option, they can destroy the deployable shield, which would reveal a frost mat. This one I really like. Now, you can still shoot something under it like an ash charge or throw a grenade under it to take out the deployable shield. But this, I think, looks super intimidating. You know, if you want to get a drone through, you're going to have to take the lasers out. And with the frost mat on their side, it's pretty deadly. Now, there is a problem here, which is I don't like the lasers being on the attacker side, because if I want to reset that, I have to shoot it from basically where the attacker should be. Now, there is a way around that. That'll be a maestro camera somewhere hidden on this side to reset the lasers. And again, this is why I kind of think Aruni's a really fun character to play in a team where you're coordinating, because you can get all these synergies going. Whereas if you're just playing her by herself and just putting up basic laser defenses, she's honestly terrible. But anyway, it's confirmed she works really well with deployable shields, and I really do like that there's different configuration types you can use for it. Hide a laser with lasers. Now, this is something I thought might work really well because claymores have red lasers. So if you come across a door with the red lasers on, you could potentially leave them on, place a claymore like this so you have one of the beams going across the front. This makes it actually surprisingly good because it really blends in with the red of the lasers, and if you're not paying good attention, or if you're moving quickly, like say as a defender who's trying to rotate to a different flank, then they might not notice it, run right through the door and blow up. And I would definitely put this down as a plausible tactic, and looking forward to seeing if I can use this on the live game. ORYX can jump through the lasers. Now this is just a quick one to show you that ORYX has no issue jumping through the lasers in order to get up through a roof hatch. And it also shows that Aruni can put these on even the highest of roof hatches as well to protect them, which is pretty cool. EMPing the lasers. Now obviously we can throw everything under the kitchen sink into these lasers to switch them off, but the only gadget that can actually do something to these lasers that isn't direct contact is Thatcher's EMP, but it is interesting to see how they interact. So this is a setup I've got going here where we have 3 lasered walls, and you'll notice the one on the left is currently on, the one on the right is also on, and the one in the middle is ready for a reset right now. So it's got the little target showing. So when we EMP the 2 on the right, you'll notice that both of them close and start to spark, and they will be off for 15 seconds, just like any other EMP gadget. And the one on the left, Thatcher is actually throwing the EMP into, so he has sacrificed the gadget. And actually we have a different result for each wall. So the first one there, where we threw the gadget into the wall and sacrificed the EMP, that will stay offline for 30 seconds and it will need to be shot to be reset. The one that was ready to be reset by a gun, it is now closed for 15 seconds and it will open back up and you'll be able to shoot it to reset it. And the one that was on that got EMP'd is off for 15 seconds but will automatically come back on after 15 seconds without having to shoot to reset it. Pretty complicated, and this gadget is actually the most complicated I've ever tested in Siege. Now guys, I want to put forward a concept to you for a timer for these gates. Because the one thing I don't like about these laser gates is the fact they've got a 30-second cooldown, and you can literally be in another room and you move into the room with the lasers and you're like, wait a minute, has this been off for 10 seconds or 5 or 15? You have no idea how long it's going to be until you can actually shoot it. And of course, when it is available to come back online, I want to be able to put it online immediately. So I find this really annoying. And there's one thing I've noticed about these gadgets. They have a white outline around them. And you'll notice this especially if someone tries to trick you by putting the lasers outside and then standing behind the reinforced wall to keep them off. Because you'll actually notice this big white outline around them. So it's pretty obvious there's lasers there. And also, it does also mean there's a player on the other side. But I was thinking, that white outline, we could use that as an actual timer, because it could progress up the wall or the door in order to get to the point of where it actually hits the gadget. This would then, obviously the actual thing would open at the cooldown point and you would then shoot it after that point. And I think that'd be great because it'd be a visual indicator of how long it is until you can actually reset these gates. Anyway guys, that's the end of my test for Aruni's laser gates. Let me know if I've missed anything in the comments below, and thank you very much for watching. I will catch you next time.